Hi everyone! I think it's our first time doing a vlog together like this. Since Fatty shared that he's struggling with depression, he actually got a lot of comments, a lot of messages, and a huge outpouring of love and support from a lot of people. But we also got a lot of questions about what it's really like. We can't speak for everyone in the world, but we can talk about our experience, and I thought that it's important to share what it really feels like from our point of view, from Fatty's point of view. Hopefully to educate more people and to reduce the stigma that mental illness and mental issues currently has in Malaysia. Okay? You want to go?
I can't really pin down exactly when is it I started having depression. If I had to guess, I'll put it at maybe 1 to 2 years ago. You know, I didn't know how to identify it then. I just felt sad or down, struggling with some level of self-worth. And, I just thought I was just being very very emotional, and I shouldn't be emotional. But the good thing about my wife is that she just thought it's just okay, set her down, maybe go take a break, go holiday or something. But after a while, she started helping ask me questions and dive deeper. And then as I really dug deep and tried to figure out what it was, I realized it's not really just sad or anything like that, but it's the inability for me to feel joy, right? So when I do things that I like I play games, or I eat great food, or somebody praises me, or I see the kids do something very cute, right? It's and I could laugh about it, but I couldn't feel the joy that was associated with these kind of feelings that I used to before. I kind of feel like numb with that, and because I cannot feel joy from the good things. Whenever I go through bad things or stressful things and everything, all I feel is just bad. So it's like life is just, I can't feel the joy, but I just feel the bad things, or the stress, or the sadness, right? I started questioning my self-worth. I started losing motivation to do stuff in life, losing interest in stuff like that lah.
On that day when I asked him, can you tell me actually what exactly you feel? Then when he said, I cannot feel joy, then I was like, yeah, there's depression now, because I read about these symptoms online, and that was sort of a breakthrough moment for us. Then after that, I think I left and I went to put the kids to sleep. Then you started googling yourself. Then you realized that it is a symptom, and that's why you decided to go seek help.
Yeah. So I think I've had this for maybe 1 or 2 years. It was only earlier this year that I finally went to see a psychiatrist now, and she, after a session with her, then she properly diagnosed me lah. So I guess if you ask me when is it I knew I had depression, for sure it was when I walked out of that consultation room lah. I spent too long denying that I had depression, or the possibility of me having depression, and too long to seek treatment lah. And I'm glad that I finally did. Because if my wife didn't push me to go seek treatment, I think I still wouldn't have been seeking treatment today, and I think I'll be in worse shape.
I can answer by my side. So to me, I don't know. We still don't really know. Tim himself doesn't really know, and that's what he's working with his doctor on to find out. For the past few years, big changes have been going on in his life. For example, he left Netcentric. And then he started building a new company called Me. At the same time, for quite a few years actually, we were both, we went through a very rough patch in our marriage. We were fighting a lot. I was very resentful towards him, and the more resentful I became, the more I pulled back. And so there were a lot of things going on at that point. So I felt that this combination of things that were happening around the same time could have been at least part of the reason why this happened. I felt very guilty also, because contributed to it, because it's our marriage.
I just thought it's just me being weak and soft and emotional, and I hate it that I throw this pity parties in my head when I go through it. But as I spend time with my psychiatrist, I begin to learn the biological reasons for it. Right? Depression is really an imbalance of serotonin, which is a chemical in our brains that is related to us feeling happy. If we do something we like, then serotonin helps us feel good about it, so we want to kind of do it again and again and again. But if you don't have enough serotonin, then you don't feel that joy, and you don't feel like doing it. And if you don't feel like doing things that you like, then you just don't feel like doing anything at all, and you start losing motivation. So that's what I've kind of learned throughout this journey from my psychiatrist. Treatment is important because it's not just the sessions of therapy, but even the meds. I've resisted taking antidepressants for quite a long time. I didn't want to get hooked on them or anything like that. But when I studied it, I understood that antidepressants or SSRIs are really meant to kind of like restore the balance of serotonin in our bodies, right? But if you talk about the life events part, I have two theories. I haven't got to the bottom of it, and it's something I'm still talking to my psychiatrist about. The first one is that for all my life I've always been very self-interest focused, and like I always kind of like go out and get what I want and just focus on what I want. If I sit at a negotiation table, I want to negotiate what I want rather than really put a lot of thought about what the other party wants, this kind of thing. Even as a husband, if I want to, I want to do something, I want to do something, right? And very often, like, Audrey has to give way to me, lah. But I guess in the past 3 years, after starting reading a lot of books and all that, I started to learn to empathize, and I've learned to not act just out of my own self-interest all the time. So I've learned to kind of make other people feel important by trying to figure out what they want, right? So I think that has made me like a better everything, a better person, a better husband, a better business partner, a better entrepreneur, a better father, even a better son. And it's not altruistic because I think it's helped me attract better things in my life. But I think that after a while I started, because I was so focused on everyone else, that after a while I begin to think that I begin to believe that I'm not important, and maybe that's what happened. The other possible reason could be like what Audrey is saying. After I left my previous company, I started a new company, and which was quite difficult starting from scratch. I think what was difficult for me at the time also was the issues with our marriage. I think we were arguing a lot back then, and I guess it manifested to this today, lah. But I still don't even know whether it's the real reason. It's something I still need to talk to my psychiatrist about and figure it out. Hopefully I'll know soon.
What's therapy like? Does it help? Are you on medication?
Yeah. So I'm on some antidepressants now. Therapy is like I sit there for an hour with my psychiatrist, and then she kind of talks to me about everything, how I'm doing and everything. Sometimes goes into my past.
We didn't tell them anything. I don't know if they sense it. I don't think Penny does, to be honest. I thought we're not so sure because there was one incident where I think Tim was just sitting on the sofa in our living room, and he was just like looking off into space. Then Fighter came and asked him, "Did he look so sad?" Right? Yeah. But we haven't really told them anything yet. I don't think it's something that we're ready to tell yet, lah. I don't think we need to know at this point.
I'm not sure even how to explain it to them in terms that they might understand.
Yeah, so we're putting that off for now. He's like sleeping right under our feet right now.
I don't really know. To be honest, like I think the past few months were quite difficult for me personally, and it's only in the past week that I feel like I'm closer back to normal again. But when I was going through this, I was like desperately trying everything. One of the things my sister recommended is that a dog might make you feel better, right? Because a dog makes you feel loved and important and all that. So I'm feeling better now, but I think it may be a combination of many different things, and I'm not sure if it's just one thing. But definitely, like, Padas has been a great addition to the family, lah. Yeah. So I guess that people experience depression in different ways. So my initial impression of it was that, hey, if I'm depressed, I'll be lying in bed all day and I have no motivation to get out of it, right? So, and this is something I literally said to my therapist, right, my psychiatrist. I said, in the first session, I said, I can't be depressed. I can still get up in the morning and I can still go to work and get shit done. She said, not necessarily. That's not how everybody experiences depression. So I guess I'm the high functioning type, so I can still work and everything and still do everything, but
it's very difficult.
it's definitely more. It takes more willpower to a certain extent. I still make it a point to fulfill all my responsibilities. I've never used depression or anything as a crutch or an excuse to do something or not do something. I really want to feel normal, and I don't want to use this as a crutch, because if I use that, then people around me might start treating me different, like I'm not normal. So, and I think that might make it worse. There was once I literally had a meltdown in like a couple of hours before our Castra launch. When I'm going through it, I feel very uncomfortable around people, right? But because we're doing a launch event, I had to go out and give a speech. I still kind of like force myself to go up there and give a speech and everything, because I didn't want to let my colleagues down, or or just not show up, So I kind of did it lah.
I guess now is a good time to say what meltdown feels like for you.
Yeah, in my experience, the meltdown is more related to the anxiety part of what I have. So my psychiatrist says I have a mixed anxiety depressive disorder. Depression is kind of like a prolonged feeling of downness or numbness, or not being able to feel joy. Whereas anxiety is when first I'll feel like an elevated heartbeat, a tightness in my body, right? And then when my hands start shaking, right, then it escalates things very quickly, because then I can see that I'm losing control of my own body, and then I start like shaking everywhere, and then I start like crying in tears, and it's very funny, because before this I don't cry one. It's not something that I do, and I can't do anything, I can't control myself, and normally when I do it, I try to go run somewhere and hide.
Okay, so I think this part is very important. A lot of people ask this also, is how do you support a depressed person? What should you say or not say around depressed people?
I've been on the other side before, not too long ago before this, like a few years ago I have a friend, our friend, me and Audrey, and she would go through this, and I would try to rationalize to her. I would like, why are you feeling like this? Why are you feeling worthless? Why are you feeling sad? With this, you should be grateful or something like that, Now that I have it, actually I realized I wasn't helping at all, because this thing, right, this depression is not rational. It's not rational at all. The first time I had my session with my psychiatrist, I was like, yeah, how can I have this? I have this, I have so many things, going for me. How could I possibly feel like this? Right? I can't have depression. And she's like, yeah, you tend to rationalize everything. But this is not rational. Now I know my same friend goes through the same thing. I would just say, I'll just listen. I would just maybe give that person a hug and just say, it's okay. I know you're feeling like this, and it's okay to feel like this, and it's okay to not be okay for now. But in the meantime, I'm here for you. I think I think that helps.
Yeah, we get so much of that, and that honestly that triggers me so much. I know that they are well intentioned, but when people say wrong things, it really gets to me, because I feel that by doing that they are trivializing his problem, or they're dismissing his problem like it's nothing, it's in your head. A lot of people who are close to us did say things like that, and it got me very, very worked up.
I think that most people, family, friends and everything, when they know you have a situation like that, they mean well, and they mean to try to give advice or share experiences that they think would help you. And so the intention is good. When I'm going through this, I find it like very difficult to listen to, but I still have to force myself to listen to it, because this person is like trying to trying to help, right? So it's not something I've overcome or figured out how to deal with in a good way. Maybe that's the reason why I didn't want to tell anyone about it.
The moral of the story is that you don't need to give advice. You just be there for the person.
I had so many things, right, and that I was like I was dealing with it. And one of the things I was also worried about was that, what if people found out about it? How would they treat me? Would my investors lose faith in me? Would my team not want to follow me anymore? There was once I was having a conversation with this person, and it was over a webinar, right? And it's just me telling my story or about entrepreneurship and everything. And this person just somehow just mentioned the word, totally unrelated, but he just mentioned the word like mental health, and I felt like I had like goosebumps or like I don't know, like a fear that sparked inside of me. And I realized it's because I was afraid to be exposed of having this. When dealing with it, I was just trying to take away things that I was just trying to remove the things that to worry about. And so one of those things is just people finding out. And I thought, okay, the easiest way is just to tell everybody, so I don't have this fear anymore, right? I took so long to get treated or to admit I had depression. I was looking at someone else we knew who had depression as a reference point of what depression was like. So when Audrey would ask me like, you have depression, and I said, I can't be. I'm not like that. I'm not. I don't have the self-worth to argue with someone about something that I'm not even passionate enough to argue about something in particular. When I have my meltdowns, I do it in private. I can't do it publicly. So I said that's not what I have. You see, and I realized that was my problem. My problem is that I was trying to think of how someone was like, and thinking, okay, that is how it's like for everybody, and so as a result of that, I can't have it, right? Rather than admitting that maybe people experience it differently. So I guess like I wanted to I guess how you say, come out, I guess, on that, because I didn't want anyone to make the same mistake I made, like that this is how depression was like. Depression can look like totally normal. It can look someone who looks totally normal and lives life normally and can work well and take care of people well could still be going through that same thing. I guess that's why I did it.
Oh, okay. So I guess it's my turn to answer now.
Yeah.
We were fighting a lot. It was like a very rough patch for us. So I don't know when exactly. Was it before? Was that the reason why we were fighting? Why we started fighting? Or like it was a chicken and egg situation, like which one came first, we don't know. But it was hard because I felt that a lot of times he was being very irrational, and he's also very stubborn. So like a lot of times he wouldn't back down, and he got so irrational to me. I felt that it was very hard for us to reconcile. Now that we've got a diagnosis and we know what exactly is the issue, I know that it's not him. It's the problem that he's going through that is causing him to act in a certain way or to feel in a certain way, which was impacting me. It's actually a very good thing that like we know what's going on, because then we know how to deal with it and we know what the enemy is, and like the enemy is not him or me. Yeah, so that was hard. In the beginning also, I realized that every time if he had a meltdown or if something triggered him, it usually doesn't really make sense, or it's blown out of proportion inside his head. So I used to try to like ask him questions to make him see that he's not being rational. But the thing is that he knows that he's not being rational. It's just that he can't get past the feelings. I realized that sometimes, actually most of the time, there really isn't anything you can do but just be there for the person, like without judging. That's just really all he needs sometimes, just for me to be there and to listen to him and just be present while he goes through it. The diagnosis was a good thing because it really made us understand what exactly the problem is. It's much easier for us to focus on a solution and finding something that works, instead of like blindly going around in the dark and fighting each other and getting angry and all that. I'm a lot more open with him now, I think, and a lot more accepting of what he tells me or the way he behaves. I don't know if you can tell what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing also.
She's been very patient, very understanding. It still is a learning journey for me, and it is also a learning journey for her. So we haven't gotten to the bottom of this yet. She's very committed to doing anything that it takes to help me out of this. But at the same time, I'm also quite worried that if this goes on for so long, then will she get sick of dealing with it? So there was a period of time where I just didn't want to tell her when I was going through it. I just say, yeah, I'm okay already, I'm all good, but she could see it lah. And then finally we had a conversation. She said, look, I want to know when you have it, don't say that you don't. And when I do lah, right? So yeah, so now I tell her.
There's nothing much that I can do. Sometimes he locks himself up in his room when he feels that it's like a meltdown is coming. But sometimes I sense it when it happens, so I go up to him and I'm just there, like in the room. Like maybe I'll be giving him a hug and just letting him cry out, like put all his feelings out. And nothing, I'm just giving him tissues. I'm not even really saying anything, but I think the important thing is that he knows that he's not alone in this, and that he has people around him who care about him. There was one time where we had like a sort of like a fight again about this, because I was also quite frustrated that something that I said triggered him, and he went off. But to me it was like a very casual remark that didn't even really have much significance, but in his head it blew up and it became something much bigger than it was ever meant to be. So at that point I felt that like maybe I really cannot tell him anything anymore, because I don't want him to think like crazy things based on things that I might just say in passing, and things that I don't mean at all. So yeah, at that point I did feel like that, and it did go on for like actually 1-2 weeks. But recently, like I said, he's been better. So it's really every day we just take it as it comes, and it could be a good day, it could be a bad day, and we just take it from there and just work from there. How do you take care of yourself when supporting a partner with depression? I don't know, man. I so don't know. It's been hard lah. Like so recently we've had a tough 1 month with our families. Certain members of our families who put us under a lot of stress, and I think normally we would have been able to handle it quite well, because I'm normally quite rational and quite chill. But I think it was just the stress of dealing with his diagnosis. I was really feeling it, so I was really like sort of like near my limit. And then when we had issues with our certain people in our family, it just burst, and it got to a bad time lah. Like I think for a week I was like very near tears, and anytime I was alone, like if I'm driving, I would like tear also. And I think it was just like the stress and the pressure of everything happening at once, and I didn't have enough emotional capacity to be able to handle everything. But it's better now. Like this week has been better for us, which is why we decided to do this video now. Yeah. So
to be honest, that's a fear of mine also. That's why Audrey likes to go out and meet friends. She's a social butterfly. So and I'm very introverted, so I stay at home. But I've always asked her to like, hey, go out, go see your friends. Don't worry about me. You're gonna get your escape. I mean, whatever I can do to kind of make her better, feel better. I still, I'm quite conscious of that lah. So it's not entirely just one way. I'm still very conscious about her and her needs as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Right.
Any last words? Okay, I go first.
Yeah.
So I think that for me, I'm coming from a perspective of someone who has a partner with depression. I've never felt anywhere close to that. So it's very hard for me to understand what exactly he feels or what exactly he's going through. Even now, after us talking so much, I understand it in theory, but I can't imagine how it feels like at all. I can't imagine having that numb feeling or being unable to feel joy, because even at my worst, like when I'm like upset or crying or grieving or whatever, I've never felt that. So I think it's very important if you know somebody who is going through something like this, to just take a step back and not put yourself in the picture at all, because it's really not about you. You will never understand what it feels like. But the best thing that you can do is really just be there for them, with no judgment, with no expectations. And it's going to be a very long process. They're not going to get better overnight. But whatever you do, the love that you show for them will help, I think.
For me, I think this experience has kind of helped me figure out what's important in life, or what is important in life, right? So, as a student, I was told to study hard, get good grades, so I can come out and get a good job, and build a career, and earn a lot of money, and then marry, and then kids, and be a good son, and all these things, And, I feel like I've done all that in a way, and I still end up with this issue that I can't feel happy. It's made me realize kind of like what's really important in life, like, is it building a career? Is it building a name? Is it building fame? Is it money? Money just can't help me out of this. I know if I could spend some money to fix this, I would, but I can't. It's just something I have to take time to get treated by, right? Can fame help you? Can a career, can a successful business help you? Not really, But the one thing that I think can help me is the people who are close to me, my wife, close friends, close family, my kids, and really in life, really that's all that matters, right?
I guess you need money to pay the doctor.
Yeah, I need money to pay the doctor. Yeah, I guess, but it's not something I can say, okay, I pay this and then my problem solved. It's not like I can go for holiday and I'm happy for good, or buy a new car and I'm happy, it's not. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Alright, bye. Yeah.